When we're reporting the latest information, it can be challenging to know how to deal with data that's in progress. Take, for example, an annual performance trend that only has 3/4 worth of data. The numbers there can appear misleadingly low. Or if you choose to exclude that information, you might be hiding crucial details for your audience. Today, we're going to address this problem, and I'll be walking you through 4 ways to better represent partial data. This slide shows new subscription revenue by year. On first glance, the 2025 bar drops off sharply compared with 2024, and it looks concerning. But as you've likely seen, there's a catch. The 2018 to 2024 bars represent full year data, whereas 2025 only includes results through to September. Let's today focus on the 4 alternative solutions to more clearly and effectively share this partial data. One of the easiest ways to ensure the 2025 data isn't mistaken for the full year's information is to distinguish between full year and partial year data visually. We can do this in a couple of ways. Firstly, add a text box using insert and text box with a clear label on the horizontal axis. And secondly, adjusting the bar fill from the solid color currently to a pattern fill. To do this, we click on the 2025 bar, wait for a second, and click again to focus on this one bar. Right click, select Format Data Point, and within the Fill options, within the Paint Bucket area, there's a Pattern Fill option. Selecting this provides a number of different styles we can choose from. These visual cues make it clear what's finalized and what's ongoing, reducing the chance of misinterpretation. At least that makes the data different from the rest, but perhaps we can provide a better comparison. Our second option allows us to do just that. With our original view, we first need to add some data that is going to represent our estimated portion for 2025. Right-click on the graph and select Edit Data in Excel. I'll add a column next to the current data called Estimate and include the amount in the 2025 row. Once back in PowerPoint, you'll notice nothing has changed. That's okay, there are a couple more steps. Firstly, we need to change the chart type so that it can show the 2 individual elements for 2025. And so for this, I'll need a stacked bar chart. I'll right click on the chart, change chart type, select column, and then finally my stacked bar chart. The final step is to ensure the data we've added is included in the view. Here I can click on the chart, select chart design, and select data. In the window that's open, I'll need to add the estimate data series. Clicking on the plus button underneath the legend entry series, and in the name box entering estimate, and for the Y values selecting the rows in our new estimate column, including the blank ones. We don't need to add the horizontal axis values, they'll be picked up automatically. Returning to PowerPoint this time, we see our new series. All we need to do now is add our labels and formatting from earlier to distinguish this element. We can now help viewers compare years more accurately. Since the data for 2025 only covers a subset of the year, we could consider comparing that current year to prior years using an equivalent time period. To demonstrate this example, we're going to need access to more granular data, monthly versus the annual summaries we've been looking at previously. Let's begin with where we left off with option 2, the stacked bar. Now, instead of just showing the full year for each of the complete years, I'm going to show January to September and then October to December separately. What I'm going to do at this point in time is replace the data we currently have with these 2 new columns. As a reminder, right-click on the chart, edit data in Excel, and paste the data in. Now there's a bit of cleanup to do. First, let's format the topmost stacks. We'll right-click on the series, and instead of the pattern fill, we'll use a solid blue, but add a little bit of transparency. However, we'll want to take care to differentiate the 2025 data with an open fill to signal that the Q4 2025 data is not yet available. Using the clicking and pausing before clicking technique again, we can isolate that 2025 bar and select no fill. The final step is to adjust our label slightly and add a legend to reflect the changes we've made. This approach helps the audience make fair comparisons across the equivalent periods. The final option is to show even more detail. And by the way, if you're looking for more inspiration on upskilling your PowerPoint skills, then check out our on-demand course, packed full of tips and techniques to transform your slides from good to great. And if you're watching this video, you can receive an exclusive 20% discount on the registration price using code YTSlides20. Okay, let's get back to the video.
As we're working with continuous time data here, we could look at a line chart to present this information. I've created a simple line chart here, which, if we take a look at the structure of the data, has our columns representing each year and the months on the rows. Now we could choose to focus on the 2025 line using sparing colour. Right-click on the line, format data series, select the paint bucket options, and then click line and solid line, and choose a highlight colour so that we can ensure we've highlighted the incompleteness of the current year. An added footnote also clarifies when the numbers were extracted, leaving no room for ambiguity. This more granular view looks quite busy. It is worth considering just how much data is required. Depending on the message we want to convey, we might consider keeping only the most recent years by removing some of the data series. We could do that by simply clicking on the line and hitting delete. We'll do the same with the labels. With a little bit of formatting and tidying up, we can create a view displaying just the relevant information. And by taking these decluttering steps to clean up the view, by the way, check out this video for more on these simple yet effective tactics, and adding annotations that connect with the data, the main message of this slide becomes abundantly clear. When sharing data for an incomplete reporting period, be deliberate about the context to avoid any confusion. Ensure that partial data is represented clearly by using helpful labels, annotations, or formatting your data in a way that makes it stand out. Ultimately, choosing a strategy that compares appropriate areas and makes that partial information unmistakably clear. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.